some chess-wise things. The one I'm trying really to talk and direct you is to change your way of thinking, to add new things in your work in order to improve it and put another stone, another cornerstone in the chess training. So we have also to teach the role of prophylactic thinking, which is something that we see in everyday life also. It's much more easy to prevent negative developments in every area than to fight the result of our own negligence. Okay, this doesn't mean that we have to be someone like, okay, there are players that young people usually they don't like. For example, they don't like Petrosyan. But if you ask him, Petrosyan was an excellent player. He understood chess quite well, and okay, he had a different style that maybe we don't like. But this is not his problem, it's our problem. The guy did what he wanted in his life, he played this kind of chess, and he was happy. He was successful, he became world champion. We can't say that we have to neglect him. And I'll tell you something, that Petrosyan was really very strange. His calculation was excellent, really excellent, but he had a psychological problem. If he could finish his opponent with a nice combination or play a long ending, he all the time he was preferring the long ending. He saw the combination. He knew that he could end very quickly the game, but he was neglecting it for some reason. We don't know really the reason, but he was enjoying killing his opponent slowly. You know, he didn't want to kill him directly, because he knew, he saw all these things. He couldn't be so good player if he couldn't see the combinations. He would have fallen for a lot of combinations. But Petrosyan very rarely fell for a combination. This just proves that he was seeing all the combinations, all the problems in the position. He just didn't want it to apply himself. He had a completely different style. So, the first person who introduced the prophylactic measure into chess literature was Aaron Nimcovich, as we know from my sister. He told that the essence of positional play is not attack or defense, but prophylactic measures. You know that Nimcovich, because of his also way of life, he became an anecdote in a lot of in the columns of the chess magazine of many publishers. If you check a little bit, you will see very negative writings about Nimcovich for at least 20-25 years, and they even make fun of him. For example, they create diagrams where he had a power only 5 and all his powers were protecting this pawn. You know, the overprotection. They were making fun with him. Something like this. Okay, this was because that Nimcovich was not very loved between his comrades, let's say between his friends and enemies. He was not respected. I told you nowadays he wrote my systems, and we know him at least as a writer and of course a good player of the era. But during his era, I believe that he had no friends, simply. And most of his opponents on the board was really making very bad fun of him. Nowadays we accept things that he wrote. We accept the blockade, we accept the prophylactic measures. There's also a very small book he published in Denmark in 1925 called Blockading. I would suggest to you, it's only 50 or 60 pages, very rare book, but very nice. It's really very good, based on some of his games. He tries to explain what exactly is blockading. Prophylactics, we could say that is purely defensive way of thinking, but it's not like this, because every prophylactic inside has the idea of counter-attack. It's like, to put it very simply, it's first to look what the opponent wants and then to react according to what he wants. So a prophylactic way seems that we destroy his threats, we create our threats. And that's the game goes on. At least the trainee learns not to play alone in the game, not to believe that he's the only one playing the game, there is an opponent. And this is a very, very big problem, because youngsters usually, they don't like to think that there is someone across them. They want to make their own plans, okay, this is fine, but they start not to have a respect for the opponent. And I don't say fear, a respect, it's two different things. We have to respect the opponent because it takes two to dance. Without a good opponent, we cannot create good stuff, simply. So we have really to tell them, to try to give them examples, to convince them that it's very important to take the prophylactic thinking in the games very seriously. So the first step is to see the opponent's intention, and the second to take proper measures. So in modern chess, the meaning of prophylaxis is very wide and takes different forms and measures. Generally, we have three forms of prophylaxis, which is the elementary prophylactics, the elementary prophylactic elimination of tactical threats, and the elimination of strategical threats. Okay, when we speak about the elementary prophylaxis, this deals with direct threats, easy one, weakness on the back rank, unpleasant pings, other immediately problems of the position. So we get moves, prophylactic moves like h3 or a3. I remember that one article Nigel Sol was written them as toilet moves. Surprised. He was just writing that when you play chess game and you have the feeling that you want to go to toilet, what you do? You play a move like a3 or h3 to have time to quickly go to toilet. So for him it was like something like toilet moves. Okay, he was making fun, but when we mean the prophylactic move like h3 or a3, we just make it. We cannot explain it sometimes that we want to eliminate the back rank mates, some unpleasant ping. You know, it's moves that it don't harm in the position, but it contains prophylactic measures. Generally, problems with this kind of prophylaxis can be seen in young and inexperienced players. So the reactions to such open and elementary threats are in many cases automatic. Tactical threats are more complicated than elementary threats and involve more sophisticated tactical elements. The reaction to them can be different, of course, as you understand, from exchanges to the important pieces to creation of our own more dynamic threats. This is also a counterplay. And now we go to the third one, which is strategical threats, which are much more complicated. You see, nearly everyone who starts chess starts with tactics. Why this happens? Tactics are more easy to learn. It's very straightforward, it has logic. A tactical stroke has a logic behind it. Easy to see. Everyone. I play this, he must play this, I play this, I made him. Easy to understand. When we talk about strategy, then become much more difficult. And usually, especially kids, they don't like so much difficulties. They don't like so much complicated thought. So, okay, but we know very well that tactical is are the kids, the born fruits of strategy. So nobody can go far if he doesn't understand what strategy means. So it's something we have to teach, but we must not try to force young people to start from strategy. It's impossible. They will start from tactics. They like it or not. There is a very simple example. When we try to teach chess, we need to have a measure. This measure consists of how many pawns deserves a queen. The most simple question. We say that the queen is 9 pawns. Okay, we say the rook is 6 pawns and blah blah, and everybody's happy. Because we explain this, the kids understand it. Because it has a measure. Suddenly, after some years, we have to tell him the truth. That what we told him is lie. That's a shock for the kid. Because he grew up with measures. Because you cannot say that the queen is 9. Depends what he's doing with the other pieces and what he do in the position. Maybe the queen in this position cost 1 pawn. And suddenly the trainee is in shock. What's happened in his life? What he learned in his life? Lies? But we cannot explain him differently the definition of, for example, positional sacrifice. Why we give something that it cost 9 to take 6 and we have better ways to go? He will not understand in the first sight. We have to explain him what strategy he's doing, and we have to tell him, forget what you learned.
And similar with the principles of Capablanca or
Yes, the same.
to make an abstraction during the game.
So actually, we have to start teaching correctly the beginner by telling him lies. This is what we do in the end. But there is no other way to do it, because young kids understand only by numerical ideas. How much it costs this, how much it costs this, so I should not give this for this. This they understand. If we try to explain them what to do in the position, how much, okay, he will go away from the game immediately. I mean, it's too complicated, became too complicated. But this is how we have to do. We have to explain about the prophylactic thingy and what exactly he's doing. Because if you see in all the games of good players, prophylaxis, another very important with the blockade, as we said, of Nemcovich, is one of the most important elements, even if they are attacking players. Doesn't matter. They have to take some prophylaxis or certain things. The only difference is that the more attacking, let's say Zero, will take less prophylaxis. But this happens, if you see his games, he creates a lot of masterpieces, but also he has some very bad and nasty defeats as well. Because he doesn't take enough prophylaxis. Kramnik, on the other hand, is living with prophylaxis. So actually his wins are not, let's say, something that makes you feel great for chess. On the other hand, it's very respectable. They're great games, but difficult to understand for a youngster. A youngster is much more easy to understand something like Tal or Sirov or some other attacking player because it's more near to him. He understands them. If you try to explain, for example, his win against Carlsen, last win of Kramnik against Carlsen, the guy doesn't understand nothing. And it's not our option to make him understand. He will understand when time comes. We cannot force things. One more form of prophylactics is maybe the most important one. Every player has the experience that after proper calculation, a decision was made, and you start to play the move. But in the middle of the process, you realize that you are losing as the opponent has very unpleasant tactics. What happened in this moment? Did you simply overlook the opponent's tactics? The answer is very simple. When you make a move, new tactical elements appear. You see, the position is changing after every move. There is nothing like we go a very straight line. Yes, maybe the straight line is the correct one, but every move is made on the board, new tactical elements appear. The medicine is simple. After you made the decision which move to play, 1 minute to check all the new tactics, which can appear after the move. You have to recontrol the tactical elements of the position. So, in this way, you must explain to your students that they should not go just straight line. There are trees. Do you remember the cutoff tree, as we call it? Which we call it like this because cutoff just because they want to research it first, and at least to publish something first.